recognize the voice right away.
How you doing, John?
Check 1, 2.
Good. I'm glad it's Friday.
Hello, Kenny.
I got some news for you.
Can you hear me? All right.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Number six.
Sorry. All right, it's 6:31. I'll call this February 16th, 2021 Planning Commission regular meeting to order. Can we have a moment of silence, please? We'll stand to do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sherry, can you take roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. Rose?
Present.
Ms. Townsend?
Here.
Ms. Butler? Here. Mr. Moyer?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Here.
Dr. Schmidt?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Bennett?
Here.
Mr. Tiller is absent. And Ms. Pearson?
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Kenny. Do I have any nominations for the 2021 Planning Commission chairperson?
I nominate Laura Rose as the chair of New Kent County Planning Commission.
Second.
Thank you. Somebody needs to move to close the nominations.
Chairman, I'll move
Okay.
to close the nomination for 2021 chair for the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend. Get somebody to move to
If
elect.
you would like, I would also move to elect. I would move to elect
Thank you, Ms. Townsend.
Laura Rose as the 2021 chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission by acclamation.
Thank you. Sherry, will you take the vote?
Yes, to elect Ms. Rose as the 2021 Planning Commission chair. How say you, Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Ms. Butler?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Abstain.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now I hand this over to you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to election of vice chair for the 2021 Planning Commission. Can I have nominations?
I'd like to move to nominate Mark Bennett as the 2021 Vice Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Ms. Chairman, if there's no other nominations, I'd like to move close the nomination
Thank
for
you.
the 2021 Vice Chair of New Kent County Planning Commission.
And I'd like to move to elect Mark Bennett as the 2021 Vice Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission by acclamation.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, for the 2021 Planning Commission Vice Chair to elect Mr. Bennett, how say you, Ms. Butler? Mr. Moyer,
Aye.
Ms. Pearson,
Aye.
Mr. Bennett,
Abstain.
Mr. LaRochelle,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Rose,
Aye.
Ms. Townsend,
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mark. Now for election of the public hearing chair. Can I have a motion to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Katie Butler, or Catherine Butler, sorry, Catherine C. Butler, as the 2021 Public Hearing Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to close the nominations if there are no more nominations to be presented for the 2021 public hearing chair for the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend. Can I have a motion to elect?
I'll motion to elect Catherine C. Butler as the 2021 Public Hearing Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission by acclamation.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, the motion is to elect Ms. Butler to the 2021 Planning Commission Public Hearing Chair. How say you, Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Butler?
Abstain.
Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Now for election of the public hearing vice chair. Can I have a motion to nominate?
Madam Chairwoman, I nominate Joanne Schmidt as the 2021 Public Hearing Vice Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to close nominations if there are none other?
Ms. Chairman, if there's no other nominations, I move to close the 2021 public hearing for vice chair for public hearings for the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to elect?
Madam Chairwoman, I move to elect Joanne Schmidt as the 2021 Public Hearing Vice Chair of the New Kent County Planning Commission by acclamation.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
To elect Dr. Schmidt as the 2021 Planning Commission Public Hearing Vice Chair. How say you, Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Ms. Butler?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Abstain.
Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And one final election for the Plan RVA representative. Can I have a motion to nominate?
I move to nominate John Moyer as the 2021 Plan RVA representative of the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you. Any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no nominations more, I will move to close the nominations for the 2021 Plan RVA representative for the New Kent County Planning Commission.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to elect?
I'll move to elect John Moyer as the 2021 Plan RVA representative of the New Kent County Planning Commission by acclamation.
Thank you. And roll call, please.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the 2021 Plan RVA representative nominated and motion to elect Mr. Moyer. How say you, Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Abstain.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Butler.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Congratulations to everyone. Uh, Moving on, the next order of business is the adoption of the bylaws that were included in the packet. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
Kelly, can you outline what the changes are? Or are they just the things that are bolded or crossed out or?
Yeah, the only changes were couple housekeeping things. We're now the planning department, so we changed that on the first page. Second page, same thing. And then the other two things that we did add in was the definition that we all agreed on last year as to what a group is. I think it helps to put that actually in the bylaws. So we put that in on page 5 and page 6. Those were the only other changes. Or proposed changes. And I think we can vote on these tonight unless anyone has any changes, then we could bring it back next month.
I'll entertain a motion. Do you need one? If there are no other comments or changes in regards to the bylaws, I'll make a motion that we accept it as it's been presented.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have two public hearings before us. Each has been properly advertised for tonight's consideration. Let me take a moment to review the procedures that we will use for tonight's hearings. Each public hearing will be considered separately. Staff will give a brief overview of the hearing that is before us. The sponsor of the case will be given an opportunity to make a presentation. Commissioners will be given an opportunity to ask questions of the sponsors or staff for clarification purposes. I will then open the citizens' comment portion of the public hearing and receive your comments. Sign-up sheets are located on the desk by the front doors of the administration building. I ask the following. When you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Address your comments to the commission. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. When the timer sounds, please conclude your remarks. And please note that the commission members will not answer your questions during the citizens' comment period, but will certainly take those questions and comments into consideration during the deliberation period of the public hearing. So with that, we will open the public hearing for application CUP-01-21, Mikado Residence over proposed restaurant.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to give a brief overview of the use permit before us this evening, and then I believe the applicants would also like to speak, and this is Mr. Hopke, their architect. Eduardo and Jennifer Mikado have requested a conditional use permit to rehabilitate an existing structure to a mixed-use, single-family residential unit over a business use. The business proposed will be a grab-and-go restaurant facility with limited seating inside and out. The property is located at 8201 New Kent Highway and was formerly a coffee house and a restaurant. Section 98-10D4 of the zoning ordinance permits a residential unit in conjunction with commercial uses to provide living quarters for a proprietor or manager and his family, but limits the residential unit size to 1,000 square feet. The square footage can be greater, however, through the issuance of a use permit, which brings us here tonight. The standards for review of conditional use permits are set forth in Section 98-744 of the County Code and are listed in your staff memo. Staff sent the application to all county and state reviewing agencies and did receive some comments that will be addressed during the site planning process, as well as the support from the Economic Development Director. This project will benefit the county from the collection of meals tax, sales and use tax, and an increased real estate assessment. The applicants have already begun working with the building official on the modification plans for the existing structure. There are 2 suggested conditions listed in Resolution PC-01-21. These conditions will assist in addressing, protecting, and promoting health, safety, and the general welfare of the New Kent County citizens. Staff recommends approval of conditional use permit with these conditions. And I'll turn it over to Mr. John Hopke. I'm going to get your slides going. There we go. Oh, when he's ready. Okay. And I got to make sure that the mouse is on the screen. Yeah, make sure you can see the arrow at all times. And just click.
Okay. I'm John Hopke with Hopke & Associates in Williamsburg. And Jennifer and Eduardo have engaged us to help them through this process. But I have to tell you, it's been a relatively easy process because the staff here has been so helpful. I think Kelly pretty much outlined in the report why we think it fits this provision of the zoning ordinance. And I'd go further and say that it's almost like a definition of what that provision in the zoning ordinance is really for. And I think it's great because it enables the county to promote the development of small businesses and businesses that are within the character of the county already. Also interesting to know is that this use of the building, the way we're proposing to set it up, is actually foreseen in the building code as well. It's a very special category in the building code called a live-work unit, or it's more commonly called a live-above. But and so we've gone through a process with the building official to make sure that we're doing that we're planning it the way it's intended in the building code. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of conceptually what we're planning to do, and you can see this is the well. Jennifer let me know it looks better today than it does in this picture, and in the back as well. But this is sort of our starting point on it, and the site, is along New Kent Highway, and so this is the building right here, and the site goes way back through. But right now it's very sort of namby-pamby. You can park here and there, and there's no paving or definition to the parking to speak of. And what we're proposing is to introduce some more formalization to the parking. We would like to, and this depends on whether VDOT will let us do it, but we would like to have let one of the current entrances be just for the residential use, and then have the commercial lot over here so that it keeps all the traffic going in and out of one location. And then to the side of the building, let me zoom in, have some outdoor dining here. So the idea is it's sort of a dine and dash, or grab and go rather. Dine and dash means you don't pay. It's a grab and go. And but basically we're keeping the entrance where it is, but proposing a patio outside and formalizing the green space around the building a little bit better than it is now. As far as the building itself goes, it's what we want to do is set it up so the kitchen will be where it was, and the room up front will be where you come in and place your order and get your food and condiments and so forth. And then you can go outside and you can eat outside. You go back to your car over here. The side entrance over here will be the entrance to the residence. And so you come into a foyer and you go straight upstairs. And then the second floor will be laid out something like this. And what we propose to the building official, and he's approved it, is to add to the building a porch to the rear that provides a second legal means of egress, as an exterior stair, so that, God forbid, should a fire start downstairs, you've got an extra place you can go to get out of the building in a hurry. And then just to give you a sense of how it might change the streetscape, is we did a little model here. This will fly you around. We haven't totally decided on the color yet, but it's so gray and we were feeling blue. So it's a beautiful piece of property and have great views off the back there of the Mikados. And that's pretty much it. Did Jennifer, you or Eduardo want to say anything?
No, just introductions, if you don't mind. Yeah, come on up.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Makoto. I live at 2828 Bending Birch in Patriots Landing. Been there about 4 years. This is my husband of more than 4 years, about 27 years.
Right.
Eduardo.
Hi, I'm Eduardo Makoto. We've been here in the area for the last 4 years. Personally, I'm a corporate executive chef, trying to, bring something to our dream come true, and have that piece of land and restaurant that we can provide a great service.
Yeah. I said we've been here about 4 years. We're members of St. Peter's Church, and this is our son, Nicholas. He's a graduating college senior, George Mason University. Yeah.
Hello. If I seem a little nervous, I've never been on a podium like this before, so bear with me. Yeah, 22 years old, just the only child of this couple right here, and I just hope that we can make my dad's biggest dream a reality someday soon.
Okay, thank you.
So,
You done?
I'm done?
Okay.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments before I open the citizens' comment period? Okay. At this time, I will open the citizens' comment period and
Oh, God, thank you.
all right. Well, it's actually Jennifer, Eduardo, and Nicholas that
Sorry.
sorry. One day I will remember that line. Signed up, it's Jennifer, Eduardo, and Nicholas Mercado. So assume that that was your comment period. And I will, does anyone else have any comments? All right, then I will close the citizens' comment portion of this public hearing. And then I will close the public hearing for application CUP-01-21, Mikado Residence over proposed restaurant, and turn it over to you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. If there are no other comments or questions from anyone on this is
I have a question.
Sure.
This is probably for Kelly. The entrance at the very beginning of the building, they've got concrete bumpers or whatever it's called, parking things in front of that building.
Right.
Are you looking to have a lane right there for park, or is that just gonna be vegetation and then 249?
That's probably a question for John.
Yeah, of course, these are just conceptual plans, but that was, the intent was to try to get some green space out in front of the building and get rid of those. Let me see if I can go backwards. So, yeah, right now those bumpers are right here and over here. So the idea is to get some landscaping and hardscaping between the building and the road.
So it'll just be two entrances,
Right,
not a parking on the front of the building?
right. That's the idea.
What's the timeline for your project?
I thought somebody might ask that. We have no idea. With COVID and building prices and costs, and we were thinking spring, but we haven't even broken ground yet. So maybe another year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's up to you guys. We can. I don't know if I would recommend it, maybe, since they're not sure when they might start, but we have done it in the past.
My concern is, I know that we've had some CUPs that did not have this on it, that showed up at a period of which was, where does it come from? And so now I've been very concerned that the CUPs, whether they have it, I would
Chair, I have a question also regarding that. Has there been opportunities where a CUP has come to an expiration point but hasn't expired, that maybe the applicant has reappeared to have it extended?
Yes, we've had several of those, and since I've been here, Pilot comes to mind. They had to come back, if you recall. I can't think of the other one that was extended. I know we have a couple upcoming. Dennis's is one that's going to be coming up for renewal, or that has to come back before you all. That's another one. We haven't had any that I can recall that I have done that have expired and then they had to come to reapply, but that would be the procedure in such a case. The Phil Bates project comes to mind. That one expired, I think, in 2018, but I don't think she has any interest in doing the project. But it has happened.
As a matter of discussion, Madam Chair, I think it is important to have some kind of sunset, whether it's 5, 8, 10 years. That doesn't bother me so long there is a sunset. Thinking possibly other opportunities come along should there be a failure in this applicant in the future. And I don't mind that there be a renewal or revitalization of it with the applicant coming before us. I don't really care, but I do think we need to have a sunset clause.
Okay. Yeah, the way we do that now is we usually put a timeline where they have to apply for their building permit or get a CO within 5 or 10, whatever years.
So you should tie it to the issuance of the building permit, whatever timeline you decide.
Yeah. Might want to ask, I don't know.
I would say, right now, just due to the circumstances of the state of Buchanan County, I would be concerned not giving them more time. So I would probably like to see it extended more than what we would normally do.
But one thing is, if you are putting to it time in with the building permit, if they are going forward, it's not they're not in the building permit time frame now. They're getting a building permit, they're planning now. So if we would leave extra time. You know, when we want extra time is when if they're still thinking about doing the project. Okay, the building permit is a step forward.
Well, haven't there been cases of people who come for CUP and then just not have done anything?
Oh, sure.
And it just sits there?
Yeah.
I think that's what we had talked once before about, just sort of cleaning up the paperwork because there's so many things that are there that did not produce that we really need to take off the table.
Then we shouldn't time it with a building permit.
I know.
Because that
Yeah, I mean.
yeah, it shouldn't be, the building permit shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Isn't he saying though that they have 5 years to get a building permit or?
No. No, the comment I think was, that once the building permit starts, that's a 5-year period of time to get it done. Is that what?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so in your ordinances, you say that on conditional use permits, it says conditional use permit shall have an expiration date established by the board. Oh, sorry. The way your ordinance reads, it contemplates approving a conditional use permit such that if a building permit for the use has not been issued and construction diligently pursued within that time period, then the authority granted by the conditional use permit shall terminate. So if you want to set a time for it, I would say within 2, 5, 8 years, they are required to get a building permit issued, and is what I was saying.
I would think 5 years would be. I think it's better to get for a building permit, not to have it completed, but to obtain a building permit.
5 years, granted, that's fine, but, and it seems like they're already in the building permit process now. So I wonder if they have some idea better than, just a guess of what timeframe would be appropriate for them. And then the board can say, and then the commission can say, well, yes or no to that.
Yeah, because of, I know where the property is, and, also, it's not like it's a commercial building right now that it really needs something done to it, but it is an old house that has just been sitting there for a long time. I am trying to understand why we need to put this type of conditional use on that property that's just been sitting there anyway. If it was some other business, it would be fine, but if this family takes its time and rebuild it to look as pretty as everything that is, I know on the left side of it is a beautiful home there, why are we putting a conditional use on it? If someone could help me understand.
Are you talking about the time frame, or are you talking about
The time frame.
conditional use permit itself?
No, just the time frame. Just the time frame. If they take their time and rebuild it and make it something beautiful, which it has not been.
We're not trying to force them to do anything. We're just trying to establish consistent application of the conditional use permit process for something that runs with the land.
Okay.
And if your question's getting at this too, the time constraint is just a time for them to get the building permit. Once they get the building permit, then there is no time. Then, that once they have the building permit, then it goes forever. It's just a condition that says if you do nothing for 5 years, don't get a building permit, don't diligently pursue construction, you just do nothing, then it automatically expires. If you get a building permit and you start operating after year 2, 3, or even before the termination, then you've got it and it's yours and it runs with the land forever until something changes.
And one question, Mr. Nancy, if that building permit expires, let's say they get the building permit before whatever the sunset is determined, just to keep that active, and then nothing is still done, you can get a permit and not do any work. Now, does that have an impact if the building permit itself expires after that sunset?
Did we tie it to the CO? The permit? It's just doing the building permit. Yeah, it's just once they get the building permit and they pursue construction of it diligently, then if they do something, then I think they would have the right to do it. That's sort of a factual determination that you'd have to make. Yeah. That's a good question.
Game show host. Did you guys want to talk about the timeline?
Yeah, we'll try to answer it best we can. We're just at the beginning of the construction documents process, so we'll be able to submit the soonest. We'll be able to submit like in 3 months for a building permit. It doesn't take very long in New Kent County to get the building permit, and then construction. As you pointed out, it's an old building, and so the construction is going to begin with a lot of demolition and structural repair. There's a good bit that needs to go on in that building. So it's hard to predict how long the construction period will actually last, but ideally it would be something like 6 months or 8 months, but worst case it could be a year, depending on that. So that's about as fast as it would move. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Why put this timeline out, stretching it out too far? They can come out, if they can't make it 8 years, they can come back for us and we'll go, yes.
That's fine, but I
You know.
think the CUP is gonna specify what this business was for, so it's not like
That's
you
what I
can
mean.
bring in
Well,
something completely different that did not meet the CUP.
well, the point is, I get to hear what they're going to do. The next person that will come in under that CUP, they don't have to come here.
I'll make a suggestion. In the application packet, some of these renderings and things were submitted. In the past, we've also done conditions to develop the property in general conformance with the, the proposed plans, whatever. We could add a condition such as that too. But just to be clear, the only conditional use part of this is to allow the residential area to be greater than 1,000 square feet. So it's zone business. Somebody could come in completely, somebody different could come and completely do a new business or anything that's approved in the business zoning by right without the use permit. So they could come and just decide they don't want to live there and just rehab the whole thing as a restaurant, and that'd be no problem. But it's tricky, I get it.
Madam Chair, I'll do it. In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practices in the county, I move to adopt resolution number PC 0121 to forward application CUP 0121 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation and a 5-year grace period. Whatever period that would be called. Tied to the building permit.
Yeah, the language we typically use for that is, I'll add condition number 3 to the resolution, giving it from the date of approval by the board, 5 years for the issuance of a building permit. That's what you meant? Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair. So the motion for CUP 0121 is that you send a favorable recommendation to the Board of Supervisors to include a 5-year sunset time from the date of approval from the Board of Supervisors to the issuance of a building permit. How say you, Mr. LaRochelle?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson? Aye. Ms. Thomas? Aye. Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Ms. Butler?
Aye.
Ms. Townsend? Aye. Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Ms. Rose? Aye. Thank you. The motion carries, Chair.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing for ordinance amendment OA-01-21, amendment to section 91-10 of the New Kent County Code.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the commission. This evening you have before you Resolution PC-02-21. On December 14th, 2020, the Board of Supervisors adopted Resolution R-48-20, requesting that the Planning Commission consider proposed amendments to Section 91-10, Section C and D of the county subdivision ordinance. Currently, with the agricultural Forestal District program, in any land use taxation program, subdivisions are not allowed to occur while the properties are still in those programs, meaning that you would have to withdraw the properties from the program, pay whatever taxes and penalties that would be involved in order to subdivide the property. And this includes boundary line adjustments and lot consolidations, with technically by state code, that is a form of subdivision. It's referred to as a re-subdivision in the state code. The Board of Supervisors and staff feels that boundary line adjustments and lot consolidations should be allowed to occur within these land use taxation districts, as long as both properties being impacted are located within that district. And the proposed language that you have before you would allow that to occur. Section C of the code deals specifically with agricultural and forestal districts, stating that boundary line adjustments and lot consolidations, as defined in our subdivision code, section 9127, shall be permitted without withdrawal from the AFD program when all properties being impacted are located within the agricultural and forestal district. And in section D, you'll find similar language regarding properties that are in other forms of land use taxation programs. The language here would allow boundary line adjustments and lot consolidations to also occur without withdrawing the property from the program. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Those are the only changes proposed to this section. Mm-hmm.
Any questions before I open the citizen comment period?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Hathaway,
Yes.
for clarity's sake, suppose there is a scenario where there's a boundary line adjustment between a non-AFD parcel and an AFD parcel, but the net change to the AFD is 0. Would that be, right now that would not be allowed to be subdivided without taking a portion of the property out of the AFD, correct?
That is correct. Both properties would have to be currently enrolled in the AFD program. What we don't want to have is situations where you have properties that are outside of the AFD program taking on portions of property that are in the AFD program, and now they're getting a tax break and have not gone through the formal AFD process. Okay.
No citizens have signed up, so I will close the citizen portion, and then I will close the public hearing for ordinance amendment OA-01-21, amendment to section 91-10 of the New Kent County Code. I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. If there are no other questions or comments,
As a comment, I would be a citizen speaking to this if I were not here. But I appreciate it. Appreciate this ordinance change.
can I get a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion as well. In order to address, protect, and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practices in the county, I move to adopt resolution number PC-0221 to forward ordinance amendment OA-0121 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Davis.
Thank you. Is that taken out of retrospective?
Yes, the motion is to approve OA-01-21 subdivision ordinance amendment. How say you, Dr. Schmidt?
what the director spoke about the number of opportunities they have in the jurisdictions on helping with demographics, studies, mapping, and things that I'm sure Kelly has been able to take advantage of for our planning people and throughout jurisdictions. They have run into a stumbling block, and that stumbling block is New Kent. They want I talked about it last time, that they want a member of a jurisdiction to be able to come with all the votes from that jurisdiction, and be able, that one person would vote for maybe the whole jurisdiction, which would be like Franco or Hanover. That would be like 6 votes, and we would still get our 2. And they took that to all the rest of the jurisdictions. They all passed. And fortunately or unfortunately, it needs to be a unanimous decision. So I don't know if I know Ms. Bailey is involved with this. I know Ron, you probably too, but I think we could probably get something from some of these other jurisdictions if we want to use it as bargaining chip.
New Kent passed its resolution at their December meeting and has forwarded that to the Planning Commission. It's my understanding that Charles City has not passed the resolution, and I think so far they're the only one that has considered it to date that has not passed it. I believe Henrico and Chesterfield has it on their board members either later this month or in March, but yeah.
Are there any commissioners' reports? Staff reports?
Thank you, ma'am. Before you, you've got the 2020 annual report. We had abbreviated meetings thanks to COVID this year, but I still wanted to put together a report that we will forward onto the board, showing the action items from the meetings that we did have, and the population projections and estimations from 2019 and 2020. The attendance, because that's part of your bylaws, we have to put that in there. And then on the back page, per usual, are the number of applications. And you can see things really didn't slow down for us too much in 2020, aside from cultural event permits, which is kind of self-explanatory with COVID, and the AFD moratorium that the board put into place, where we didn't do new applications. So be ready for a lot of AFDs in 2021, this summer probably. And then the other staff report, if you wanted to make a motion to forward this to the board tonight, unless you had any changes or questions or additional information you wanted me to put in there, we would accept that. That'd be great. If you want to do that first, then I'll go on to my next staff report. I don't think so, no, unless there's any. You could do it both with acclamation, A or, yeah. Okay, thank you. It's not official business, but it's part of the bylaws. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hathaway, next month we needed to find a new location for our meetings. Okay, so for the next couple of months, we're going to be meeting in the Sheriff's Annex training room. The Sheriff's Office behind the courthouse has a really nice big meeting room facility that they're gonna let us use. We can set up, I'll figure out a way for us to set up. Probably we could do a square, or we could do, tiers like we do here, but it's all on one floor, so. But there's plenty of room in there for people to come and still speak, and we'll figure out a way for them to sign up and do their screening and stuff, so yeah. The whole building's gonna be ripped up, starting in March, yeah.
We're replacing the HVAC unit.
Yeah, HVAC, they're gonna start up on this floor in March, and then when that's finished, we're gonna move on to the basement. So staff's going to be shuffled around. Different departments are going to be temporarily moved. So I'm sure a PSA will come out about that pretty soon on Facebook and stuff, where to find us. But yes, next month's meeting will be in the Sheriff's Annex and probably April and May as well, till this room's finished. And then on the March 15th agenda, we will have at least one rezoning application. I got in this morning, so otherwise I was going to say we could cancel the March meeting, but we do have an application in. And then a possible another one, if he can get it in by tomorrow. I gave him a little bit of leeway with the weather situation, so we'll see about that. And I don't have much information about him, but they shouldn't be too big of a deal. And I think that was it. Any other staff reports? No? Rodney? You wanna go?
It's been a while since we've talked about the strategic plan. So I just want to give a brief update on that. We are wrapping that document up. We have a draft version of the strategic plan, which will be presented to the Board of Supervisors next Wednesday at their work session at 9 a.m. Our consultant will be here to present that document. And this really will be their first take on this document, their first look. And we hope to get additional feedback from them as well. Our plan is to present the new document to the community come mid-March. And there'll be a series of virtual meetings hosted by our consultant to present the envisioned New Kent County strategic plan to the community. And this is significant because it's our plan that once we get the strategic plan out in final form, we'll then begin to work on the county's comprehensive plan, which is specifically deals with land use, and that's our long range and short range land use plan for the county. So we hope early summer, late spring, to be in a position to put out an RFP for the comprehensive plan process, which we would hire a consultant to lead us through that process as well. Thank you. February 24th, next Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. All right, thank you.
The solar project. I believe they're still moving forward. You speaking of the one we had the presentation from, I still have not received their paperwork, their application, their fees, the studies that we would require, but I do believe that they're still working on it. She did contact me a couple weeks ago asking for advice on how they should reach out to the public since they can't really have another big meeting. So I believe that they're working on a public outreach, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard, I haven't gotten any calls, so. Yeah. And I have gotten a lot of inquiries about other solar projects, but nothing has kind of panned out, so stay tuned for that. With Yep. Yeah. Yeah. My colleagues, like in Gloucester County, they're just getting inundated with them right now, the utility scale size. So I am going to a webinar in the morning to learn more about the new tax incentives and the new incentives to localities about this. So I'll share that information with y'all. It should be pretty good tomorrow.
Yeah, just for perspective, I was at a solar site today in Prince George County, 500,000 solar panels.
Wow.
Over 500,000 solar panels, nearly 5 square miles of solar panels is what's it's a Wards Creek area of Prince George County.
Wow.
It's enormous, and I just wonder what's going to happen to those 500,000 solar panels 25 or 30 years from now when they've expired, and what's going to happen to them then.
Yeah.
How green,
Oh, yeah.
how green is it then?
Right, right. I know, I understand.
And that's just one project.
Right. Yeah, and I've seen the one too on the way to 295 in Henrico just recently. That took off. Yeah, that's small in comparison to what you're talking about. Yeah.
Small, as far as solar projects go, those are small.
Yeah. A couple of huge ones on 360 in Hanover popped up over the last year. It's panels are the new thing.
Kelly, has there been any more information released since about a year ago on the power plant in Charles City?
Gosh, I haven't heard anything.
I've not heard anything or any updates recently about those projects. I'm not sure the status of those.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know they were considering a big solar project too down there. I don't know what the status of that is.
The only thing I know about it is that they're still working on interconnection. And all the studies that go into it. I mean, they've got through most of the environmental permitting, but there's still a number of hurdles that they have to pass through.
And this was the one that was going to rely on Duquesne water sources, correct?
There are two projects, to my understanding, in Charles City. We've been working with the group called Chickahominy Power, I believe, that has entered into an agreement with the county for water.
Kelly, for all of the solar panel calls that you're receiving, do you know how many of those solar panel projects will be wanting to do something in District 3?
I don't actually. I can look. I've gotten probably 5 inquiries over the last couple of months, but nothing's come in as far as bringing it to y'all for public hearing. The one that we heard from in December, that's in District 3. But I'm trying to think quickly where the district lines are so goofy. It's kind of hard to picture. There's one over near Polish Town that might be in District 3. And then another call I've gotten is a smaller scale one off Route 60, closer to South Garden Road. I don't know, that might be 2 or that might be 5. But I can look and let you know, just the inquiries.
Because when I look at the plans for these things, I see the tax revenue that they keep saying, oh, it's great tax incentive, but I can't see it. Not to have something on land as my coworker here said for 25, 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't see it. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many, because we have so many open spaces here, is looking to come in District 3 because I heard those residents loud and clear when I was at
Sure.
the last meeting.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah,
want it.
right. No, I understand, especially on land that's already zoned for a commercial type use. Yeah, industry, EO.
I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Did anybody give some reason why that was industry?
Oh, that area? Those, yeah.
There's no exit for entrance to 64. There's 4 roads.
The owners, actually, the county did a comprehensive rezoning back in, I believe, 2008 or so. And that's part of a larger tract, 600 acres, all near exit 211. That entire tract was zoned economic opportunity by the county in 2008. The developer came back after that and requested that he kept some of the property in economic opportunity, but requested that the county rezone the majority of the property of the 1,600 acres to an industrial type use, and the board approved his request. So it's because it was part of a much larger tract that had access to exit 211.
Well, I'll ask that big question. Have you done any site work on it to get any industry?
I can say that there are some discussions and there are some things that are currently in works right now. I mean, there's some discussions ongoing. Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Ms. Hathaway, about solar sites.
Yes.
Of course, we're all familiar with the solar panels and the typical solar site now, but I think Mr. Bennett mentioned this previously about the next big thing in solar sites is having battery storage on site. So that the store power during the day and provide power at night.
Yes.
Large industrial scale batteries, whole different ballgame as far as hazardous chemicals and everything else. Where does the county stand on that? Has there been discussion at the supervisor level? Can steps be taken now to prevent that type of installation in the future?
Well, I can tell you there really hasn't been much discussion at the supervisor level on that. Actually, Dominion is doing a test project right now in New Kent County on property that they own, basically right across the street from the jail, with the battery storage, what you've spoken of. We hope to see the results of that study, and we'll be more, we'll have more knowledge of that use so we can make informed decisions. But right now, there's been little discussion of that.
It's a headlong rush into green, it's a headlong rush into alternative power. And zero carbon emissions, so it's clean air and everything else, but you're taking up 400 acres to produce power that could be produced on 2 acres using, traditional power generation.
I agree 100%. And some of this just is not quite ready for prime time, but because of the goals,
right.
Everybody's pushing, and I think it's okay to start looking at all these technologies, but setting some of these goals may be our undoing. Well, let's see. Staff reports, the next meeting is March 15th at 6:30 in the sheriff's annex. Is that correct?
The training room, yes.
That's right.
We'll be out there with a sign.
Okay. Yeah, you have a big arrow there.
Yeah.
And I get a motion to adjourn.
So. 7:45.